Hello everybody, Bruce Elgord here with a short tutorial on how to install and configure FileZilla on Apple Macintosh computers. In this video, we'll be covering a couple things. First, what is FileZilla? Next, what if I'm using Microsoft Windows on a PC? Third, where to get the FileZilla software. And fourth, we'll install the software. It'll only take a little while. And then lastly, I'll show you how to connect to the Clark CTEC web server. Well, FileZilla is an application. It's an FTP application, File Transfer Protocol, and it allows you to move files to and from your PC and a web server. And it allows you to do that securely. The application, it's free, it's open source, and it's available for Apple's OS X, and it's also available for Microsoft Windows. Stay tuned for a second. You will use FileZilla to upload your assignments to the Clark CTEC web server. You'll develop them locally on your PC. You'll use Visual Studio Code and the live server preview to get the files just right. You'll then upload those files to the CTEC web server, and of course you're going to test them up there as well to make sure everything works. And yeah, that's what you're going to use FileZilla for. Okay, but if you're using a PC, right, the FileZilla software runs on OS X, and we highly recommend that Mac users use it. It doesn't run on Microsoft. It does run on Microsoft Windows as well. And if you want to use it on Windows, go ahead. We suggest that you use the WinSCP software, and there's another video on how to install that. Watch that video, and you can stop watching this video if you're going to use WinSCP on a PC. All right? Next, where to get FileZilla? Well, if you go to https://filezilla-project.org, that's where you can get and download the software. Now, before we get into the installation of the software of FileZilla and connecting to the CTEC web server, you're going to need to know a few terms. And the first of those three terms is hostname. The hostname is the actual web address of the Clark CTEC web server, which happens to be ctec.clark.edu without the quotes. ctec.clark.edu. Now, don't put HTTP or anything else in front of it, just ctec.clark.edu. The next is going to be your username, and that is the everything to the left of the @ sign in your student email address, right? And then next is a password, and that's going to be the same password that you use to log into computers at Clark. It's that simple. If you need to change your password, you can go to that URL on the slide there and change your password or your Canvas password and do a whole bunch of other IT related things. All right, so let's get started. I am going to show you Google Chrome here, and you can see that I've already gone to the FileZilla-project.org website, and I'm going to scroll down here, and it says download the FileZilla client. Download FileZilla client. That's what we want. We don't want the server. We want the FileZilla client. I'm going to click on that. Okay. Download FileZilla client. Sometimes these things automatically download, start a download, but I'm going to click on it again. Please select your edition. We want the FileZilla right here on the right. Okay, we want this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. It's going to download the file. And if your version or the numbers down here on the lower left seem different or are different, that's because the software has been updated. So I'm going to click on that software one time. I'm going to minimize Chrome. and then I'm going to step you through this dialog here. So I'm going to agree to the terms after reading them. And honestly, you should carefully read terms of use on everything. That's pro tip. I'm going to click agree, and then it's going to install the software, and it's going to install the software. And there it is, okay? There is the software. It says double click on the logo to start your installation. So what we saw here was the unpacking of the software. I'll double click it just like it suggested. I'm going to open it here, and it's going to prompt me through. I'm going to close that dialog, okay? And I'm going to hit continue. Installing. Okay, and it's installed, and I'm going to click finish. That was pretty easy, right? Oh, look at that, it even launched it for me. So I'm going to click OK here, and now you have FileZilla. Okay, there it is, it's up and running. On the left hand side here, this is the file system on your computer. It's got, if I go here, okay, and I go to, say, desktop, right? If I go to my, what do you call it here? Camtasia is what I'm using as my machine right now. And I go, say, to desktop, right? That's, you'll see here, right? That's these files right here, all right? So if I just double click desktop, right here, right? Actually, I was just going to click it. Never mind. All right. So let's go right up here to the host. If you remember from a few minutes ago, ctec.clark.edu. Now it wants your username. Now my username is a little bit different than yours. Yours is going to have a dot in it. Mine, because I'm special, doesn't have a dot in it. I'm going to type in my password, if I can remember it. Okay, and then I'm going to type 22. 22 is the port number, we'll call it a channel for simplicity, that SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, uses, all right, 22. And I'm going to click Quick Connect, and I'm going to say do not save passwords. That's the way I like it. And it's saying here the server host key is unknown. So you want to click OK here and always trust this host. So click OK. And there we have it. I have, you can see Faculty Belgord here. All right. There is the CTEC files and folders that I have. They happen to be in something called public HTML. You'll learn more about this in a future module. But here you can see these are files and folders that are on the CTEC web server. On the left here, these are files and things that I have on my PC. Okay? And as you can imagine, we are going to be developing web pages and dragging them from our PC over to this public HTML folder. Okay? And one thing I want to point out is that you're never going to place files outside of that folder. They're always going to be, you're going to double click into that folder, excuse me, or just not double click, but expand out this triangle, this twisty thing here, and then, you know, either create a new folder by right clicking and creating new files and folders, okay, or dragging files over. More on that later, all right? So that's it. You have FileZilla up and running, and you're going to need, in the first week of this class, to include a screenshot of you connected to, just like I did here, showing me your computer folders on your left and your public HTML folder on the right. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, find me on Slack. Have a great day.